Bing boing bing. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip. Hey guys, this is Everybody Has a Story to Tell with Toddy One Skip. Everybody does have a story to tell, but very few people take the time to listen until now. Guys, how you doing? I hope this finds everybody well. Guys, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Ozzy because I had a lot of responses to the little video that I put up of Ozzy Osbourne. It's so important to understand what was going on in the time that Ozzy was born and in the time that Ozzy became part and founded Black Sabbath. So Ozzy was born in 1948, which was just 3 years after we know what happened with World War II and how the world was at the time and how people were trying to come out of things. But, the temperature of the country, not just the United States, but over in the UK as well, was somber. It was somber. And Ozzy was born into poverty in like Birmingham. It was plight. It was plight at that time, and Ozzy had gotten into trouble, and he was a smart ass, always a smart ass, it seems, right? And so at 20 years old, when I know I'm skipping. At 20 years old, what do you think the temperament of the countries were at that time, and globally? Globally, so the Vietnam War that was kicking off. There wasn't a lot of peace throughout the countries. There was issues. There was a lot of people trying to get out of a depression, out of a certain kind of anger that the countries globally that they could feel this strife, and hence comes the birth of heavy metal, which is something that was pioneered by none other than Ozzy Osbourne. And because music is a universal language, it is. It doesn't, you don't have to speak the language to feel the pulsation, to feel the vibe, the attitude of the song, whether it be happy or sad. To have that emotion is something that's shared universally while the song's being either played on the radio or in concert. And that was the appeal with Ozzy Osbourne, is that people that came from nothing, he gave hope for them as he got on stage and was singing to them. He was singing songs that could reach them because they felt the way that he felt. He was singing to the working class people that were struggling to make it and to feel good within the world in which they were living in. And here comes Ozzy with um, a whole genre of music that screams, "Come to me, you're wanted here." You have to remember that Ozzy came after the Beatles. So while the Beatles were loving and hold my hand and love me do, and I love the Beatles, my favorite band, Ozzy was with much darker songs and a much darker music. And but still it cultivated a following of people that didn't just want to hold your hand, and the people that stirred that emotion that Ozzy was feeling himself. And so that's the importance of having genres of music and songwriters and people with their own inventions in their head and their own beat to their own different drum in their head so that it can be shared. When I had the recording studio, it was so important to me to share the music that was coming into the studio, because to me, the greatest song was always the one being written right now in somebody's garage. And that's what needs to be shared, and how music can take you from one place to another place like that, as if you're on some sort of time machine. It can take you back to memories that are precious to you. It can take you back just by one note in the song, can take you like a magic carpet ride. And there's an awful lot of followers here that were very attached to Ozzy, and his music was like a soundtrack to their lives. Ozzy Osbourne, plenty of you said, this album saved my life. This album was on repeat. This album made me feel like I could cope. That is such a gift to hear from a songwriter, that that is their lyrics, their songs, their emotions helped you survive something. That is the best gift that you can give to a songwriter, is that not only you relate to it, but how it changed your life, and how anytime you hear that song, it takes you to a better place. Maybe you play that song because it takes you to a better place, takes you out of the place that you're in now. Well, it seems like for sure Ozzy Osbourne was able to do that. And a few people have said, he sold himself when he pioneered the Osbournes. I don't think he sold himself out. I think he let people see exactly who Ozzy Osbourne was. People like me who grew to like him simply because of that show, that introduced me to a side to Ozzy that I didn't see. But I think it's very important, especially now he's no longer here, so this work speaks for him. All the facets of the work, his craziness, the way he was a dad, the way he was willing to laugh at himself, the way he was willing to find things about himself that he enjoyed. That's all true about him. Yeah, Ozzy was able to show us a side to him that you can laugh at and laugh with him, or laugh at him. Either which way, I think it was okay with Ozzy. You have to remember, he was born just 3 years after World War II. And you also have to remember, in 1968, when he went ahead and founded Black Sabbath, that was the same year that Martin Luther King was assassinated. You remember that, right? That was the same year that Robert Kennedy was assassinated. There was so much turmoil in these countries and globally that we can definitely understand where there was just enough room for an Ozzy Osbourne to come and change the tapestry of what music would look like. Guys, this is Everybody Has a Story to Tell with Toddy Oneskip. Thank you so much for coming on this little journey with me about Ozzy Osbourne. Guys, everybody does have a story to tell. Nobody takes the time to listen until now. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. See you on the next one. Bing, boing, bing. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy Oneskip.